I framed my co-founder and best friend for massive corporate embezzlement to secure our IPO, and while I ring the bell on Wall Street, he sits in a federal penitentiary. I'm writing this from the master suite of a penthouse in Manhattan, overlooking the city that I now effectively own a piece of. My face is on the cover of Forbes this month. The headline reads, "The Savior of Silicon Valley, How One Man Steered a Tech Giant Through Crisis." They call me a visionary. They call me the steady hand that calmed the markets. But if you ask the inmate in cell block C of a federal correctional facility in upstate New York, he will tell you a very different story. He will tell you I am Judas with a Bloomberg terminal. His name is Caleb. We met in our freshman year of college at MIT. He was the brilliant, chaotic genius, the kind of guy who could code a neural network in a weekend but couldn't remember to pay his electricity bill. I was the business mind, the architect, the one who knew how to package his chaotic brilliance into a product people actually wanted to buy. We were inseparable. We were going to change the world. And for a while, we did. We founded Aether 7 years ago. Our AI-driven logistics software became the backbone for half the shipping companies in the Northern Hemisphere. We grew from a garage operation to a valuation of $3 billion in under 5 years. But as the company scaled, the dynamic shifted. Caleb didn't care about quarterly earnings or board meetings. He cared about purity of code and radical transparency. He started showing up to investor meetings in pajamas, high on something that wasn't caffeine, rambling about how we should open source our proprietary algorithms for the good of humanity. The board was terrified. We were 6 months away from our initial public offering, IPO. This is the holy grail for a startup, the moment you turn paper money into real generational wealth. But the institutional investors made it clear to me in a private dinner. We love the product, but we can't trust the erratic genius. Caleb is a liability. If he's at the helm or even on the board, we pull our funding. Fix it or Aether dies. I tried to talk to him. I offered him to buy him out. I offered him a purely ceremonial role with a massive salary. He laughed in my face. "This is my soul," he said, looking at me with those wide, manic eyes. "I'm not selling out to the suits. If they want a war, I'll burn the whole thing down before I let them turn it into just another profit machine." He meant it. He had administrative access to everything. He could delete the code base with a single keystroke. He was threatening to destroy 5 years of my life and the livelihoods of 400 employees because of his ego. That night, I realized that friendship is a luxury I could no longer afford. I didn't just need him out, I needed him neutralized completely. If I fired him, he would sue or sabotage us from the outside. He needed to be discredited so thoroughly that no one would ever believe him again. The plan took me 3 months to execute. It was a masterclass in forensic framing. I knew Caleb's passwords, not because I hacked him, but because he was careless with security, trusting me implicitly. I used a VPN to route traffic through a server in the Cayman Islands. Over the course of 12 weeks, I slowly siphoned off $4.5 million from our operational accounts. I didn't steal the money for myself. That would be greedy, and greed gets you caught. I moved the money into a complex web of shell companies that I set up using Caleb's digital identity. I used his private keys to sign the transfers. I created a trail of emails sent from his account and then deleted but recoverable, where he discussed buying illegal narcotics and paying off gambling debts. I even went as far as to purchase a modest, undisclosed property in Belize under his name, using the stolen funds, planting the deed in his digital cloud storage. I created a narrative. The erratic, drug-addled genius was looting the company to fund a secret escape life because he knew he was about to be fired. 2 weeks before the IPO, I triggered the internal audit. I remember the morning the auditors walked into the boardroom. I sat next to Caleb, feigning shock as they laid out the evidence. "Caleb, what is this?" I asked, my voice trembling with fake betrayal. "Tell them it's a mistake." Caleb looked at the spreadsheets, then at me. He was confused, then angry, then terrified. "I didn't do this," he stammered. This is my signature, but I didn't authorize this." The more he denied it, the guiltier he looked. He started shouting about conspiracies, about how the suits were setting him up. He sounded paranoid. He sounded exactly like the unstable liability the investors feared. The FBI was called. The evidence was overwhelming. The digital footprint was exclusively his. The money was in accounts linked to his name. The deleted emails were the nail in the coffin. I testified against him. I stood in front of a federal grand jury and wiped away a tear. "I loved him like a brother," I said. "I wanted to believe he was just stressed. I had no idea he was stealing from us. I feel responsible for not seeing the signs of his addiction sooner." The board fired him for cause. His equity was clawed back due to the gross misconduct clause in our shareholder agreement, a clause I had insisted on strengthening a year prior. Because the fraud was caught by me, the CEO, the narrative shifted. The company wasn't a risky bet. It was a company with strong internal controls and a leader who put integrity above friendship. The market loved it. The IPO launched on schedule. The stock soared 40% on opening day. I became a billionaire before lunch. Caleb couldn't afford a high-powered defense team because his assets were frozen. He took a plea deal to avoid a 20-year sentence. He is currently serving 5 years for wire fraud and embezzlement. I visited him once, about a month ago. He looked thin, pale, and broken. The fire was gone from his eyes. "Why?" he asked me through the plexiglass. "I know it was you. I've had a year to think about the code. You're the only one who could have done it." I leaned in and spoke into the phone receiver. "You were gonna crash the plane, Caleb. You were gonna kill Aether because of your pride. I saved 400 jobs. I saved the investors' money. I saved the company you built, even if I had to sacrifice you to do it." I hung up the phone. I walked out into the sunshine. I drove my Bugatti back to the office, where I am now the sole visionary. The company is thriving. We're expanding into global markets. We just signed a contract with NASA. And Caleb, he's scrubbing floors in a federal prison. Sometimes, late at night, when the city lights are blinking below me, I wonder if he was right. I wonder if I am a sociopath. But then I check the stock ticker on my phone, and I see the green numbers going up, and I remember that in the world of high-stakes business, there are no friends. There are only assets and liabilities. Caleb became a liability. I liquidated him. Am I the monster for framing my best friend, or am I just the only one who had the guts to do what needed to be done to save the company?